So hello there. We have a 2010 Dodge Journey EXT, but it's a special edition. It's the King Ranch edition. Anyways, it's here because the check engine light is on and it apparently runs poorly. It was towed here. I just started and drove it in, and other than the check engine light being on and the tire pressure monitor light, oh, I got no throttle response. Unless that's because it's just in neutral. That's probably just because it's in park and it knows better than I do. So we'll throw a scan on it and see what kind of codes it's generating. So this is a new vehicle we've never scanned before. Scanner automatically detected it. Should auto ID it. 237,000 kilometers. Wow. Let's see if we display fitted systems. Let's do a network code scan. Oh, fuel injector circuit. I predict some rodent activity. Fuel P0206, fuel injector 6 open. Amplifier code, driver's window not calibrated. Passenger window not calibrated. That happens after the battery's disconnected. And 15 computers. Remote start antenna, tire pressure sensors. Okay, so let's have a look at number 6 fuel injector. So there's the cylinder firing order and the cylinder numbering layout. Cylinders 1, 3, 5 are under the intake manifold, 2, 4, 6 are on the front. And according to the fault code, P0206, number 6 injector is the problem, or the wiring to it, which is one of the ones we can actually get at. So this is cylinder 2, 4, 6. The number 6 injector is this one right here. And I can't see anything obviously wrong with the wiring. I had it zoomed in. Unless it's a wiring problem at the other end, maybe at the ECM. Where is the ECM on this? The ECM's down here. But right now it's not misfiring. It's not acting up. So here's the electrical circuit for it. The ASD relay feeds fuse M19, 25 amp fuse. And that feeds all of the injectors. Now it may feed also the ignition coils. There's a splice 113 in here as well. So we're going to put a jumper across, a fuse jumper wire in place of this 25 amp fuse in the TIPM, and current ramp the injectors and see maybe if we go for a road test if one of them is shorted or breaking down. So M19 is this 25 amp fuse right here. It's labeled there, you can't see it, it's gray on black. So that, I'm going to take that fuse out, put a fuse jumper wire in there, and current ramp that circuit. So I've got a fuse jumper wire across that fuse location, and low amp clamp. And I've got that connected to channel 1. And I've got channel 2 connected to injector number 4, this middle one here. I didn't want to connect it to the one that was potentially a problem in case the computer driver was shutting down. So obviously there are other things using that fuse, so we're going to have to try and locate another spot where we can pick up all the injectors. So in the diagram here you see connector 101 is after the splice. So we're going to see if we can find C101 pin 8. I'm going to make a note of that. C101 pin 8. If we can locate that, put it on that wire, either before or after that connector, then we'll pick up just the injectors and not everything else that's coming off of this splice here. I imagine the ignition coils and maybe even the alternator is running off that. So this is what it looks like. Brown and white wire we're going after, circuit F342, and we're going to have to find out exactly where it is. So it's a 14-pin connector. So this is the connector here by the looks of it. That brown wire right at the end here is the ASD wire that feeds all of the injectors. So we're going to peel back some tape here so we can get the amp clamp over that single wire. So I've got it over that single wire. You can see this is injector number 4 and the current waveform. So now I'm going to change the time base here and see if we're missing an injector waveform. Oh yeah, we're missing one. Right there. I'll double check the firing order. It's actually started to miss now. A really tough firing order to remember. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if this is number 4, that's number 5, and number 6 is missing. Now, it could be missing because the ECM has shut down the drive circuit, or it could be an open circuit. Let's get at that injector and disconnect it. Actually, I'm going to shut it off and restart it again and see if that... So it's missing on a startup. I'm sure it wasn't misfiring. You can see it misfiring now, but it wasn't misfiring before. So we're going to disconnect that injector. So that's with a Noid light installed in there. There's the Noid light. You can see it blinking ever so dim. And you can see it now on the scope. The drive circuit is working. At least it's firing a Noid light. I'm going to check continuity through that injector. So I'm going to check continuity of this injector. So I'm zeroing out the ohm meter. And it's on 40 ohms range, which should be adequate. I've got 2 test probes connect to the injector. Fortunately, this is one we can get at. And it's over 40 ohms, so the injector is open. Yeah, the injector is open. Maybe it was on 40K. Yeah, the injector is completely open. So it needs an injector. Unfortunately, though, I think I have to pull the intake manifold off to pull the fuel rail out. Damn, that sucks. Oh well. So I re-recorded this just to see if there was any other injectors that look. That's the Noid light, but all the other injectors look reasonably normal. Again, that's the actual Noid light. That's injector number 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And so on. So given the fact that this intake manifold has to come off, as near as I can tell, to do the injector in this thing, even though it's the one we can get to, or at least get to the connector there, it's probably a good time to put spark plugs in this thing, because there's 3 spark plugs under that intake plenum. So I'm going to have a talk with the customer and see exactly what he wants to do. My recommendation would be to put an injector in and a set of spark plugs while we have the intake plenum off.